athletes, welcome back from your holiday break. I hope you guys had a safe and fun New Year's. I think one of the things I want to definitely touch on as we start to get back into training is address some of the things and parts of our body that get really tight when we take that time in between Christmas and New Year's and decide to really relax and kind of neglect the diet, maybe not take in enough water so we're a little dehydrated, and definitely we don't move as much either, so there tends to be a lot of restriction, and that tends to build up in between your cervical spine and your lumbar spine, and those 12 vertebrae are called the T-spine or thoracic spine, and it's largely responsible for the sagittal plane motion of your body, the frontal plane motion, and then the transverse plane motion. And I want to show you guys a couple strategies today of how to get that motion back, how to rehydrate the connective tissue in that area in order to really attack the workouts and start the new year off right. So the first piece of equipment we're going to use is either the vibrating foam roll or the trigger point foam roll. Either one will work, it just matters your preference and your level of comfort with either. So I'd like to start with this laying perpendicular to your back. So your spine is going to run across the foam roll. I tend to start with the foam roll towards the base of my T-spine, so right above my lumbar spine. Cross my arms, touch my hands to my shoulders, keep my hips on the ground and bring my heels in to about a 90-degree angle. I'll start to rock back, extending my head towards the ground, and then picking my shoulders back up. And all this is doing is helping to rehydrate those tissues around that T-spine. As I get a couple reps in, I'll scoot my hips down, move the foam roll further up to my shoulder blades, and I'll just repeat those movements up and down. All the while I'm trying to keep a steady breath and just try to rehydrate that tissue, compressing with extension and flexion. When I get to the point of my back where I start to feel the bottom of my shoulder blades, that's when I can start to translate that motion into the frontal plane. So I start to rock. I say my ears down to my shoulders, or you can think about moving your spine side to side. From there, that rotation or the transverse plane motion is a little bit harder to achieve, so we're gonna go from the bottom up. Keep our hands where they were before. Eyes look up towards the ceiling, and you can just start to drop your knees down to one side, drop your knees down to the other side. And if you wanna get really fancy, you can start to add that frontal plane shift or that side to side shift in the shoulders. And I can move the foam roll a little bit further down the spine and do the same thing. Just moving my knees side to side and dropping my shoulders side to side. Once you spend about a couple minutes, say get a couple reps in each plane, you start to feel a little bit more motion in the spine. That's when we can move up to the stretch cage. All right guys, so the last thing I'll show you involves the stretch cage. We're not actually gonna be in the stretch cage. Instead, what I'm gonna have you do is just be in a lateral position to the outside anchor points. I'm gonna take my outside arm, anchor it to the cage. My chest is gonna start to rotate towards the platform, but my toes and hips are going to face to the front. So I'm reaching my inside arm down to my ankle, and then I'm gonna start to side bend and reach that arm to the opposite side, lateral position of my body. So I'm reaching down, and I'm reaching out. All the while, I'm still trying to maintain a good breath, keep a slight bend in the knees, and then as I feel more comfortable in this movement, I'm gonna start to bring my hips in and start to include that bottom up driver along with that top down driver. And so we're attacking that T-spine from the shoulders down and the hips up. Because we talked about it's those 12 vertebrae in between our neck and our lumbar spine. You'll see it from the back, outside arm, adds that twist, inside arm, adds a little bit of lateral flexion so that I get a really nice stretch and really start to open up that rib cage. Once you're done with that, you can start to take the outside arm even higher so that I'm starting to get that lateral flexion and then drive the inside arm through that transverse plane motion and really thinking about keeping your chest up tall, adding a little bit more rotation in the hips, and that way you're attacking the T-spine and the sagittal plane, the frontal plane, and the transverse plane, all in about 2 movements. All right guys, so I hope that that helps you. 1, the tip with the foam roll, and 2, another exercise to add to your toolbox for the stretch cage. And let's start the year off right with a healthy spine, and that way we keep ourselves injury free so that we can work the entire year long. I'll see you guys next Monday for another Mobility Monday. Thanks, and have a good week of training.